Well, I'm speaking to you, as you can see, from a new venue. I'm in our little oratory here in the Redemptorist House in Perth in Scotland, St Mary's, Kinnoull. And I didn't want to let the opportunity pass of sharing a message with you while I'm away, so this is just to keep you updated. The meeting is going well. Tomorrow I'm going to give a little bit of input on shrine ministry at the meeting. It will be one of the last sessions we have. And then, as you know, I'm going to take a few days off after the rest of the brethren return to their different communities. There are a couple of intentions, however, before I forget, so I'd ask you to remember in your prayers. First of all, I was told that by Nick MacLeod, I've known Nick since he was a boy in our vocations group all those years ago in the 1970s, and his dear mother Irene has had a fall and is in hospital and struggling somewhat, and he's asked for prayers. So alongside all the prayers we've been asking for the sick, I would ask you to remember Irene MacLeod very much, please, in your prayers, and to remember her husband Reg. I'd also ask you to keep in prayer Madeleine McCann. She's been back in the news again. It'll be 15 years next Tuesday since Madeleine went missing. Before the pandemic, we always had a mass around the time that she went missing, and I've been in touch with Sue, her grandmother, and we've agreed that the 12 o'clock mass at Bishop Eton next Wednesday, which of course is the Novena Mass, we will remember Madeleine especially at that mass, and Father Andrew will look after it. So just a couple of intentions to bring to mind, and of course I'm sure you'll continue to pray for all those whom we've been keeping in our prayers. When I spoke at a couple of masses on Sunday about this shrine ministry, and shrines, of course, are all over the world. We think of the great ones like Lourdes and so on. But the Redemptorists have a huge shrine that they look after in Brazil, in Aparecida. And that was where there was a famous conference of the South American bishops when Pope Francis was the chair of the Bishops' Conference in those days, back in 2007. And I got thinking about this whole business of shrine ministry, and possibly thinking, when you can see the shrine of Our Lady of Aparecida, just a little picture here in our own oratory, as we have them everywhere. But I was thinking that in a way it would be a wonderful way of spreading of the gospel, the evangelization, which the Pope is constantly calling for in our own setting back in Liverpool, that we could build up that sense of pilgrimage to shrines and so on. And I was so thrilled that, having just mentioned it, the artist who wonderfully wrote that new icon for us, the Virgin of Tenderness, sent me a long response. I'm not going to read it all to you today, but it's certainly given me a lot to think about. He immediately picked up on what I said, got wonderful practical ideas, links the whole notion of the shrine, of course, with pilgrimage, as I was suggesting. And you know, it seems to be that if there's this much enthusiasm with just me mentioning it last Sunday in a couple of masses, that there might be a real mileage in all this. But we could in fact set up teams who would be trained and able to welcome people and talk to them about our own icons, possibly develop, even taking them to other places, but well, particularly the Virgin of Tenderness. There are all sorts of possibilities in the air. I'm not going to go into that in detail tonight, but I was just thrilled. So a huge thank you. And the person knows who he is. He doesn't want to be identified, and that's rightly so, as you know. But it would be wonderful if, in fact, we pick up on this whole idea. And as I say, I'm going to share some thoughts with my confreres. It's an area that the Redemptorists are looking at all over the world. And obviously we do have the link with Our Lady of Perpetual Succour in all our churches throughout the world. But we do have these other shrines as well. And as I say, I've been to Aparecida. The story about Our Lady of Aparecida is quite an extraordinary one, which I won't go into tonight. But maybe one day we can have a look at some of these areas. And the Pope is reminding us that these devotions of the ordinary folk are so important at building up our spiritual lives. And I think we as Redemptorists may have something very special to offer in that area. So I leave you with that thought, wishing you well from all your friends. Many of you know lots of Redemptorists over the years and been moved from one house to another. And we're going to have a little celebration this evening, so I'm just getting this message in. We've just had a wonderful Mass. We've had photographs taken with our habits on again, so Father Richard wanted to make sure we were all looking smart, so that these, when they sent off around the world with the social media these days. So that's all completed, and I'm now going to go and join them for a good celebration this evening, thanking God, particularly for those who are celebrating Jubilees this year. And of course, our own Father Andrew didn't really have a great celebration last year for his Golden Jubilee, so we're remembering all those this year, and the years that have gone by where we haven't actually been able to celebrate with them. So may the Lord bless you, fill your homes and families with his peace today, and I look forward to being back with you at the end of next week. Good night and God bless.